no fear. The Washington Post says that hitting rock bottom a year and a half before the midterms might actually be a lucky thing. With us now, Denny Sales, Democratic political strategist, Doug Schoen, former advisor to President Bill Clinton. Gents, good to see both of you. Denny, I want to start with you. There's that old line, right? You know, we used to say in the primaries, maybe a candidate peaked too early. Is being this bad, like rock bottom, 18 months before the midterms, the inverse of that, of peaking too early?
Look, I think Democrats are not going to get any better. One, that was a very strong intro, and it was all factual and true. And look, you can extend that to what Democrats do even in the state of New York in education. Let me give you a perfect example. 5 years ago, in order to be considered proficient in, let's say, ELA and mathematics from grade 3 to 8, you would have to have scored about a 70 or above. They've lowered those standards to now that you have to score a 50 or more. Just think about that. A 50% to be considered proficient in mathematics or ELA. Democrats have been lowering the standard and not really giving a damn about what it takes to make these daily lives better for the average American or no matter what. And that's the problem.
Well, it looks good for the politicians, right? Because suddenly the test scores go up. Doug, I think you pointed out really adroitly in your column about AOC potentially being the Democratic nominee for president in 2028. President Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez isn't as far out of reach as it once was. The Hill, as our partners, encourage anyone to go read that column. But for President AOC to happen, she has to win North Carolina, swing state, where Roy Cooper, the former moderate of all moderate governors, just declared for Senate and cleared the primary field because in North Carolina, they think the moderate has the best chance. How can you have a party that believes the future president is AOC and the future senator from North Carolina is Roy Cooper?
Well, the problem is we have no leaders in the Democratic Party. There's a void for the nominating process, Leland, which typically gives an advantage to an outsider and somebody of the left. The Democratic Party base skews left. The activists are left. And I suspect if AOC runs and she is the nominee, which is certainly possible, she would make her peace with Roy Cooper and Roy Cooper would make his peace with her. So I think they could get together, but bottom line, we Democrats are in as bad shape as you and Denny say, and we need new faces. I'm not a supporter of hers. I'm just an analyst reporting facts as I know them.
No, I think it's a great analysis, and what you just said about Roy Cooper's great analysis as well. This, Denny, to your point, is I think somebody who is another possibility for 2028 that may not be talked about enough, Wes Moore of Maryland. Take a listen.
We have an education system that has been deliberate about the way that we are criminalizing and punishing black boys when we're watching the results of our young black boys continue to downgrade, and we are actually then turning around and blaming the black boys for their failure. Not the system, not the structure, but the young men. Blaming them. And then we wonder what's going on with the black men and why they're not voting for us.
I guess the only question to me would be, would the mostly black politicians that run some of these cities and some of these states have to take a little bit of responsibility as well, Denny? And I think you'd say yes.
I do, because at the end of the day, you look at a city like Baltimore, which is a high crime area, you have to prove that your policies and your ideas have actually improved the daily lives of they're there. So if you're going to talk about black boys, to see what type of opportunity have you provided these folks? Are they actually climbing the socioeconomic ladder or not? And if they are not, then you have to try to sell that, saying, why did you fail as governor of Maryland not to improve the daily lives of African Americans that live in your own state? So those are the things. Now, look, if you're going to look at any candidate in 2028, if I was going to say who is my number 1 pick in the 2028 draft, that would be Governor Andy Beshear. I love what he's stating when he's stating along the lines that Democrats need to get away, or remove themselves from using activist language. And he's correct about that, but he's also going to look at it by saying that at the end of the day, you have to talk about the economy. You have to talk about how you're going to improve all these folks' lives. That's it.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.